Hi everybody, time to put in another fishing report. We've been off for a couple of weeks, but we're back with a vengeance now, looking forward to a really good fishing season. The back half of summer can be absolutely beautiful. The weather's great, temperatures are warm, and it's a great chance to get out there. From a salmon point of view, we've had a few. They're telling us that they're catching fish at the Huronui, but you've got to be really quiet. It's one of my favourite rivers and I don't want you crowding down there. But if you do want to catch a salmon, you're probably more likely to see some there than you are in some of the other rivers, which have been a wee bit harder. The Rakaya's going pretty well with fish in it. Of course, they're all down now because of the heavy rain that we had during this week, but it will clear quite well. And because it's been quite a high intensity rainfall, chances are it will clear quite quickly. Get out there early while it's still a little bit murky. Even if it seems like it's a day before you should be there, you can often do quite well. The salmon are spread quite well throughout the likes of the Rakaya, and I would expect to see some good catches. I know the quality of the fish is pretty good. Those that are getting caught are very much better than the ones that we had in last year. The Waimak will come into its own, but it tends to be a later river, so keep that in mind. I always believe that the very end of February and all of March is the time that should be concentrating on the Waimak. So if you've got limited time, bear that in mind. Go spend your time at some of the other rivers and you do quite well. Surf fishing has been reasonably productive. Of course, we've got this situation around our coast where the water temperature is much higher than it was in a normal time at this time of year. Last year, of course, was another hot year. So we've got kingfish all the way around the whole island and the South Island, and that warmer temperature does bring in other species. I know they're catching gurnard and some of the better fish up north, so if you go to Nappy Nap or north of there up to Kaikoura, you can do pretty well. I'm not hearing so many stories about rig and elephant fish, but they're almost always around. So if we can get a nor'wester, go and a lovely night, you'll enjoy yourself. It's lots and lots of fun. Speaking of kingies, gee, they're on the go, and there's some crackers being caught out from Littleton Harbour, which is our local area here. So if you can get out and look at the kelp, or get out to the mussel farm, any place where you've got an obstacle, they're liable to hang around. Remember, they like buoys, they like rocks, they like places which tend to be quite difficult sometimes when you hook them, because they want to run straight there and break you off. But that's half the fun. We've got to have a story about the one that got away. Otherwise, how would you fill your time? And of course, Collingwood's coming into its own. One of our favourite places up around Golden Bay. You've got a tremendous number of good kingfish coming into that area. When the weather's right, they're there. It's just a question of getting out, looking for rays particularly. You get these ray riding fish, great for the fly fishermen like me who like to get out there, but of course you can also catch them on lures as well. I know that the boat fishermen from the Sounds are doing extremely well on kingies, and I'm expecting to hear more and more reports of kingies all the way down the coast through to Needham Harbour, right down to Bluff like they did last year, and that fishing is a lot of fun. It's a new fishery for us. We've got lots and lots of gear in for that, particularly for sliders, poppers and the likes. So you've got a really exciting form of fishing where you're casting to them and watching them come in and nail your gear. Well, as far as the backcountry is concerned, it's cicada time of year. Very hot back there, and if you do get into the backcountry, particularly where you've got bush, you'll hear the deafening sound of cicadas chirping away. The great thing about cicadas, of course, is they're terrible flyers, and when they hit the water, they hit with a real splash. But from a trout's point of view, a great meal. So they will spin around, and if you're a lousy caster, great time for you to be out there. You'll whack out your cicada, the fish will turn around and grab it, and just be prepared for a great bit of fight. When you catch them, let them go so someone else can have a go as well. The dry fly fishing is just so much fun, and I'd rather do that than anything else. Spinning can still be pretty good, better in the evenings than in the mornings when it gets extremely hot. And it's the same when you go down to the canals. You'll find that it's been pretty warm down there. The water temperature starts to get up. The fish get a bit more lethargic, so you've got to be a bit trickier in what you do. Don't be afraid to go down to lighter line, and be very clever in the way that you put out your soft baits or your lures. Make sure that you just move it nice and slow. Take your time. Best times morning and evening, middle of the day. Great time to take a rest.
Yeah, well, you know, it's sort of that time of the day where you go and don't burn yourself out.
Well, before the rivers came down, the kahawai fishing was pretty epic. And I would suggest that once the rivers clear again, we'll be back to that epic kahawai fishing. They're in great condition this year, lots and lots of them, and they're in the mouths of most of our rivers, including the Ashley. And that's one we don't talk about very often, but there's hardly anybody goes down there. So if you've got a bit of a hankering to have a bit of a fish this weekend, and you're looking at the Waimak and it looks a little bit on the muddy side, go to one of the clearer river mouths like the Ashley or even the Ashburton river mouth. You can have a lot of fun there on the kahawai. Get out there, make it happen. If you've got any more things that you need to know, please feel free to contact us. We love to look after you. Remember, it's a Complete Angler. We're at 484 Cramper Street. We're online, completeangler.co.nz. We'd love to talk to you and get you fishing.